All right. Welcome everybody to episode 86 of the Centre Circle podcast. You got myself, Keith, hosting again. John's MIA.
Hey.
Let's not go into that. I'm joined by Adrian. How you doing?
I'm good, just on a little winter break and training and watching football, right?
And friend of the pod, Ash is back. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I mean, this is like my hat trick performance, so
yeah.
to show off and show out, man.
Okay, yeah. So where's the gifts?
Like, you should be giving me a gift.
No, you should bring us a gift.
All right, for the fourth one, I will.
All right, so yeah, welcome to another episode. So what we're going to do today is just have a recap of the Boxing Day fixtures. We won't go into too much in depth about those, but just kind of give you the results and the key flashpoints. Talk about today's games that have just finished. Also talk about Ronaldo's comments at the latest footballing awards, the relatively new one that's coming to fruition. Talk about the Trent contract situation and how that might affect him, Liverpool going forward. We're going to go through our team of the season so far. So everyone kind of pick their own team to see how people are doing so far. And then we're just going to look at maybe what the current top six sides of the league need to do in terms of transfer-wise. The transfer window opened in, 3 days now?
Yeah.
It feels like it's only gets closed,
Yeah.
It's crazy. They come around so quickly. So let's quickly recap the Boxing Day fixtures, just go through them. So first up, it was Manchester City 1, Everton 1. It wasn't a surprising result.
No.
And really good for Everton. So Everton played Manchester City, Chelsea and Arsenal back-to-back. Came away with 3 points and 2 clean sheets. Nice little result for Everton there, wasn't it?
That seems to do a little number for them, don't he? He makes them a bit resilient. And even though it's not pretty at times, he definitely gets the number out of the players. He gets a tune out of the players.
You say it wasn't pretty. I tweeted, I don't know whether to applaud him or be disgusted. Because I don't know if you saw it. When it was 1-1, they had a counter-attack in the last minute. And I was just like, do you want to score?
Go for it.
Just go for it. And it's just kind of like they hesitated, like the ball got released to Harrison a little bit late.
But Everton aren't good.
No, they're not. They're just
good.
above the promoted teams in terms of quality. Literally,
they're not good. And I think like his mentality is, someone said if he could have 38 0-0s, he'd be happy with that. Like, he doesn't care about scoring goals. He doesn't care about expansive football. But you got to sniff when a team's down. City were there for the taking and for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, definitely.
And we kind of seen this in their game today as well. They're allowing teams to have lots of chances. And if Everton set themselves up in the right way, they could have got more from that game. But if you say to someone you're going to go to the Etihad, the Emirates, and host Chelsea in the form that they've been in, you're going to give them 3 points and 3 draws, you take it.
Yeah,
100%.
definitely.
Yeah, you take it.
But it's one of them. We'll touch on Man City a little bit about their games today, but I think they're susceptible to the counter a lot more than what they've been used to. But we'll come into that. Arsenal 1, Ipswich 0. Spend a bit of time on this because Arsenal haven't played yet. Was it your first game without Saka? Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Was it? Okay, first game without Saka.
No, it wasn't.
Since the injury?
Yeah, since the injury. Since the injury. Sorry,
I thought you talked about this season.
No, not this season. Since the injury, which we now know he's going to be out for maybe 2 to 3 months. It was a hamstring tear, I want to say, which required surgery. He posted a picture saying he's hoping to come back.
That picture was funny. That picture was like some war-torn thing. He's down bad. Like, there's a GoFundMe page for him. Like, bro, it's a hammy, man.
Yeah.
Like,
it's going to be useful. When people say, oh, you got to be sick if blah, blah, blah happens. People are going to be like, oh, yeah, Saka up in bed. But we joke, but even as a rival fan, it's sad to see someone like Saka suffer an injury like this. And I've said to a few people, he may not come back the same. Hopefully, kind of there's been advancements in kind of rehabilitation, because when Michael Owen suffered this injury, he kind of lost a yard of pace that he kind of relied on. And Michael Owen was still a top player after
Yeah.
the injury, but that kind of yard of pace that he had at the start of his career never really came back. So for me, for one, hope it's not too much of a setback for Saka. Since this game, there's been a bit of kind of commotion online between Arsenal fans in Arteta's approach to this game. Like, obviously, you're playing Ipswich. A lot of my friends were like, yeah, it's going to be 3-4-0. Arsenal were going to walk all over them. But the creative aspect wasn't really there. And we kind of said that when Odegaard was injured, kind of lost it a bit. Do you think the same's going to happen now that Saka's injured?
It's possible. It is possible.
You can say yes. You can say yes.
No, you know what? To be fair, I would say yes, but we have to see what it looks like after 4 games, I reckon. And that's just the players to kind of work out each other's new movement and balance and when to give and go and et cetera, et cetera. Because there's obviously the chemistry between Saka and Odegaard, you can't rebuild that. You've got to find another form of chemistry. But hopefully, like I said in the last one when he did get injured against Palace, was that hopefully Arteta just sticks to the same formation and just puts the player there and let him find how to work that position for the team. And it hopefully works out because I think they've got enough creativity in them. And maybe it's Jesus should go out there and leave Havertz up front and then let Jesus just kind of build on the momentum that he's building right now.
I got a couple of thoughts about this. So there's 2. There's the Wanyeri part of it, which I'm going to park for now and I'll come back to in a second.
Right.
But I'm going to start with in terms of, we spoke about the relationship between Odegaard and Saka, but also the right back. So now what you've got is when you've got a left footer on the right-hand side who's cutting in, invariably that leaves a lot of space in the channel for the right back to bomb on. So we've seen Ben White do really well. We've seen Timber do really well. When you've got a right footer who's going to go outside like Martinelli, that means you then have to almost alter how you play. So then they have to kind of like underlap a little bit more.
Yeah.
And actually, Timber's really good at that, and so is Ben White. So I'm not too worried about that as a setup. The issue that I'm more worried about is like you said, there's whenever you're playing like a low block, there's going to be less space for someone to kind of like run into. And that's Martinelli's main game, right?
Yeah.
Kind of running in, getting in behind and doing that kind of stuff. Whereas when you got someone who's on the left who comes inside, there's a bit more ingenuity, there's a bit more connections, there's like those things. So we're going to miss that. I think in certain games it's going to work well. So I think when we play Brentford, I think having Martinelli out there as an option is going to be good for us as an out ball. But I think against teams that want to just stay compact, it's going to come a lot harder for us to kind of potentially beat teams.
Yeah.
Having Jesus and Havertz there means if there are more crosses coming in, then we've got 2 targets to kind of hit, and Jesus is good in the air and so is Havertz. So that can work well. The reason I'm kind of flagging the Wanyeri piece is because I'm really going to be focusing on how Arteta uses him across these next 3 months. Because when Odegaard was out and there was a crying space for him to play, he didn't play him. But what you've done is you brought him on away to Tottenham in the middle of the derby for the last 10 minutes to try and gain a level of control in the game. Whenever we've been losing, you've brought him on to try and affect and change a game. So if you can trust him to change a game in a deficit, why is he not trusted at home to Ipswich? Why is he not trusted at home to Southampton? Why is he not trusted at home to Leicester? So that's why this injury kind of opens up 2 elements for me. The Wanyeri piece in terms of how we're going to utilise him moving forward, because I think that needs to change. He needs more minutes and he needs to play more with the first team. But then also in certain games, we might be okay because we have a different outlet out there, but we are going to suffer in some of the games when we actually
100%.
need to kind of like have a little bit more ingenuity that comes from having Saka out there.
And I just don't, the one thing I'm hoping for, he doesn't overcomplicate it and try some magical new formation. So that's where I'm at. But no, great points there.
So are you saying that maybe instead of starting Trossard out on the right, keep Martinelli, Havertz, Jesus up top, and Wanyeri in the middle with Rice and Odegaard?
I think he can play either of the positions. I think he can either play where Odegaard was playing as that kind of like advanced 8, or he can play from one of the wings. Why not play him out there? Give him the minutes that he kind of requires, because he keeps getting these little bit part minutes, or he starts games in like all the other competitions, but we can't start him against the lower teams in the league. Doesn't make sense. I feel like he's kind of earned his right to get a bit more minutes. I think we need to use that as an option as well. Because if we don't use him, why did we keep him? Why did we not loan him out? Genuinely, we've loaned out Fabio Pereira, we sold Emil Smith-Rowe, but there's a reason why you've done that, because you want to give him a pathway to play. We've had injuries, so he should be playing.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Like we've said on here numerous times, like he's clearly shown his attributes that he's ready for this level despite his age. And if you don't put him in these kind of situations, it's going to be hard to kind of force him when the going gets tough back end of the season, when everyone's scrapping for all those kind of hard and necessary points. If you can trust him, for like you say, for like the last 10 minutes of games, why can't you trust him against Ipswich?
Yeah.
Where it's prime example of a lesser team, no disrespect, where he'd be able to potentially shine and get his confidence,
100%.
etc.
Because we're playing him in all the games. Like he started in the
League Cup.
Carabao Cup. Like he's played all of those games. If we were to win our next Champions League game and we're through, he's gonna start that next game as well. So we need to play him more and more, especially if we're gonna keep him and we've loaned other players out.
No, definitely.
Yeah. So just looked at the stats. You only had 5 shots on target against Ipswich, which I would have expected that count to be a little bit higher. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of what Arteta does. Like we've all kind of leveled a little bit of criticism, etc. Just going back to the Saka injury, I know it's hard to say he's been overplayed, and was it the League Cup game against Southampton? Like he came on, etc. Like, do you think there's times when Arteta just kind of got it wrong in terms of managing his minutes?
100%. 100%. Especially in the first season when we had the title charge, like he would never take him off.
Yeah.
Got a bit better last year. But even let's go back to the Euros, right? So the Euros final was on the 14th of July.
Yeah.
We then had 3 weeks to the start of the season, and we had a pre-season friendly which I went to, which was like the first week of August.
Yeah.
I remember it. I remember going to it. Saka played in that game. I was like, what? Saka and Declan Rice played in that game. They literally had 2 weeks off. So Declan Rice's form as well hasn't been as great as it was last year because he's tired. These are the kind of muscle injuries you get when you're tired. We can't, and we've come back in, and then Saka's played 90 minutes in the following game at home to Wolves, our first game. Like, he's not really missed much football. Why has that been allowed to happen?
Yeah, and if you compare that to, say, the Manchester City and Liverpool guys who went to the final Euros, like Trent, I don't think Trent even went to America, and like he kind of phased in slowly. The Man City guys, they didn't even start the season. Like Rodri and all them guys, they weren't involved.
Rodri's first start was when he got injured against us. That was his first start of the season. Foden didn't play the first 2 or 3 games.
Yeah.
Walker hasn't played all season, so he hasn't started. but genuinely, he made sure. But we've rushed him back and got him started in like these games. It's crazy.
But then you just made a point about Rodri, right? Rodri got rested, got injured, and some of these things are like beyond your control, you know. So I think sometimes we can always look at the minutes, but we've all played football, and you've had 5 weeks break, and you've recovered in the first game.
You think you're ready?
You think you're ready? You've done a good little pre-season, and that's the same for them. They've played well, they've rested. Remember, they do all the recovery stuff.
Yeah,
and the scientists would have said, "Nah, he can play this game, etc., etc."
I think we are seeing just because someone actually made a really good point that they're saying the season after a tournament tends to be a little bit erratic for the first 6 months. It's just natural because of what happens, and actually, it's played out. Like there's no real structure. The year that they had the World Cup in the middle of the season, that was mad erratic because where we came from, we have to factor that bit in. But then players are going to be tired, especially those players who were English, who got to the finals as well, who were depended on. So your Rice's, Bellingham's been the same in terms of Real Madrid as well.
It took him a while.
You look at all of those. Trippier hasn't been in the team whatsoever. John Stones been in and out as well. Like there's so many players who just haven't really hit. Kane got injured for a while as well. So many players have actually had more injuries this year than they had last year. And I think it is because of the calendar.
Yeah, no, fully agree. So it'd be interesting to see how Arsenal fare against Brentford away on New Year's Day, I believe it is. Bit interesting that you get a 5-day break over Christmas. Never seen that before. But
then you know what? We play...
Let's not get into that again.
But we play before you do. So we play 2 games and then you play after Saturday, it as well. It's really weird. It's dumb. It's dumb.
That fixture could have been today or tomorrow.
100%.
Very odd. Brighton 0, Brentford 0. Not much happened apart from Pedro going full WWE on Yarmouk. People have said he should have been sent off because of the intent. What do you think about that?
I haven't seen it. It's a wild,
it's mad, isn't it?
Wild swing.
Yeah.
And it's not even like he's saying, "Oh, you know," sometimes be like, "Oh, get off me." No, it was.
Yeah, he was
the
trying to
point.
hurt
It
him,
was the
innit?
point of the elbow, like which is crazy. I think in retrospect he could get done. Maybe I think it's
No,
one of those things.
nothing's happening.
Nothing
Like,
did,
Yeah,
no,
but
no.
but that's what I said. I think in retrospect he should have probably
Oh,
got
sorry.
done for it because you may not see it in the middle of a game and think about it, but now that it's been seen, it's come up. I would have expected them to kind of do that, but they seem to be a bit slow with stuff because even Cunha hasn't been banned yet. He's
yeah, I
already.
think they're kind of getting all the
Evidence.
evidence
I
for
don't
that.
know what's going on. Because they're dealing with this Man City case. What they've only got like one admin person. Like, I don't know what's
Funny.
going on. All admin is just with Man City at the
You
moment.
know what I think with Cunha? I think he's going to get a mad ban,
I
and
don't-
they're just trying to back up the ban.
But
that they're gonna give him.
I think it's a couple things, ain't it? Right? Like, does it fit under certain rules and regulations of the game? So like conduct and etc. The
And
guy,
yanked
the
off
guy.
his glasses.
I'm not disputing that, but is the guy meant to be played? Is he meant to be on the pitch himself? So
End
there's
of the
number
game,
of-
I think it's
there's-
anything
it's
can
number
go,
of
innit?
so it's like you know, if anyone breaks the commit to crime and gets away with it, sometimes it's a
It's
grey
the
area.
technicalities.
It's a technicality, right?
Technicalities, to be fair.
So that's it. So
Yeah, interesting one. Yeah, Liverpool 3, Leicester 1. So I thought I'd have to send an apology to Mr. AU after he
That's a
put
good goal.
Leicester
That's
in
a
the
good
lead.
goal.
Yeah, bit sloppy from Robertson, but let's not go into that. But yeah, Liverpool done well to equalise just before half time through Gakpo, and then yeah,
I
kind
told
of
you about
controlled.
Gakpo, right?
Huh?
I've been talking about Gakpo
Yeah,
for
no.
a while.
Yeah,
remember?
you've been,
Yeah.
he's.
He's starting to look like.
The confidence, isn't it?
But you know what?
I think there's just been a mentality shift in him as well. So I don't think he's like a purple patch for him anymore.
I think he's positional though. He's better off
100%.
the left. He's
100%.
better.
Yeah, that-
He's
yeah.
not a central striker at all.
Or-
And that's why
or a
when you
10.
put Diaz there and he's kind of that high energy, he's like, yes, thank you.
And last season, like we had a few injuries in the midfield, etc. And Klopp moved him around a bit. So he played like
A
played
10,
wide left, he played as a 9, played as a 10,
Yeah.
played as an 8.
played as a false 9.
Yeah, so he kind of
Mm.
struggled a little bit. But it's good that he's found his form and like when he plays for Netherlands, plays out wide left and does a job. So that kind of
And he had a good
connection.
Euros wide left as
Yeah,
well. if you
yeah.
remember.
He's top goal scorer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's because when he came in, and when I've noticed that Diaz is playing up there, I'm like, okay, he's actually in his best position. And I think people underestimate that the whole moving around thing is long. Like when you're being asked to do a different job in like every game, you
Yeah.
really do lose.
Suffer it, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
100%.
lose something. Whereas if you say, I know that this is my job, these are my relationships, the same things that we talked about with Arsenal and the
Yeah.
relationships that you build up, he knows Robertson's going to go, I cut inside. And yeah, it's cash money for him at the moment, man.
Yeah,
But I think for me, it was even towards the end of last season, he weren't getting the numbers in terms of like goals, but actually what he was doing during the
yeah,
game,
performance wise,
he started to perform. So yeah, no, good.
Wolves 2, Manchester United 0. Battle of the Portuguese managers and the newer manager, Vitor Pereira, with his second game in charge. Came out on top. Silly yellow card from Bruno.
Too stupid. He deserved to get sent off. Someone said to me like, oh yeah, but you know, it's just after half time. I hate that. You know, like,
yeah.
oh,
It doesn't matter when something happens in the
yeah,
game.
like, or even in the start of the game, oh, it's the first one. No, if it's a crap
foul.
tackle, it's a
It's
crap tackle,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So no, fully deserved. I think the one thing that really struck me about that game was around the kind of midfield composition. Now, I know Kobe Mainoo got quite a lot of heat from that game as well.
Yeah.
Teams are just literally saying, okay, in that area, we're just gonna overload and flood them and run past them. And yeah, I think Amarin, as much as we've seen a few things that he's done already, and I know you've made a joke about they should just kept rude. And that's what you keep saying as well. I think I know we'll get onto in a second. They're going to do a lot of business in January.
I don't think they are.
They have to. They have to.
That- I think
They might not have the money to be
Yeah.
No,
fair.
but I think they're going to move because if they move a couple of those people on, if Rashford kind of go
don't
somewhere
think-
as
I
well,
don't
you get them
think
off the
he
wage
can move
bill. I think they can definitely say this is what happened, or they're going to try and get some loans in because they're missing the key profile of the players that they require for that system.
yeah.
And he's not going to change the system, which I think he's right to do. If you're a new manager and you come in and this is what you want to set up with as well, I think you almost need to be like, this is what I want to do, and that you can tweak the system. But I think, like for instance, they're playing Mazraoui as the right centre back. He should never play there. You've got enough centre backs to cover that position. I think he should play there. But what I would say is he should kind of put the stamp and saying, this is what I want, work out what players can do it, and then with January coming up, then have the investment to get a couple of those pieces to move it forward.
And I do agree with you in parts, but I think when you're seeing the results that bad and you're conceding that many goals, I think sometimes you might have to say, all right, let me put a pause on it.
100%.
I'm going to work on it in training. I'm going to do it in Euros when we play European football, but we're going to play the 4-2-3-1 because that's the profile players that I've got.
Yeah,
Profile
because
of the
like,
play-
the style he wants to play, he hasn't got the players for it. I don't think he in any of the positions.
And-
But personally, because if you look at Sporting, it was quite fluid. Obviously, he's had more time to work on it, and he's even said himself like, we don't get enough time to train because we've got Saturday, Wednesdays, Saturday games. Like he's like, we don't have enough time to train. I think it was good to do it in maybe like the first 1 or 2 games to see if they can do it.
Yeah.
And I think now he's seen that
They
they're not
can't.
capable of doing it to the level that he requires for it to be
Effective.
Yeah. So I think get to the transfer window, try and move to pieces like you said.
Yeah.
But I think I'm not saying revert back to type in what Ten Hag done, but I think you don't really see a plan B with him in the game so far. It's like they go behind and they can look a bit disjointed.
But you know what's the crazy though? They're going behind a lot to set pieces, which has got nothing to do with the formation.
But in the game,
No, in the game they're not great. I'm not saying that,
Yeah.
but they're going around to set pieces, and then the game gets really stretched, and then he's bringing lots of things on. Probably what the issue I would say is he's made too many changes. That's the bit that I'm talking about. So I think if he said, okay, now I know that Højlund's going to be my 9. I know that I've got Ahmad in this role, and I've got Bruno in this role. I've got Agate here. I've got Dallo, who's going to definitely be my left-sided kind of like wing back. Mazarawi is going to be my right-sided wing back. I've got 3 centre-backs that can do this. Remember, he's all playing Evans. He's played Maguire. But it seems that 1 week is Evans. At home it's Evans, away it's Maguire.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it's mad.
There's been too many changes there. He should have settled on a few more of the players.
Yeah.
But I think he should utilize his system because that's what's got him success. And he's going to be buying players for that system. So he can weed out a few people, but it should be, these are my back 3 that I'm going to run with. These are the 2 midfielders I'm going to run with and play them as much as possible. Because if you can't train it, then try to play it into some kind of consistency.
I think the issue with that though is you run the risk of missing out on Europe again and etc. And what does that look like for United and their financial situation if they miss out on Europe again? So I agree. I'm all for managers playing the formation or playing the players that they need to play. But sometimes and all good managers do that as well. They say, all right, this ain't working right now. I've got to tweak it, how I play the formation, or I've got to play a different formation slightly. We've seen Pep do that. We've seen Arteta do that. We've seen Jose do it. But we've seen what's his name, Conte do it. This formation don't really work, so I've got to change it a little bit. And that's it. So I think
we sound a bit
They're-
hypocritical, innit? Because
they're
we always
awful.
say a manager's got to have a style, got to do it their own way.
That's why I think it should stay.
And now we're saying
That's why I think it
you
should
can have
stay.
the style, but don't play it just yet.
No,
kind of thing.
I
But
100% think he should stay with his style.
I think it's too much too soon for this Man United with this crop of players. But yeah, we'll see. Bournemouth 0, Crystal Palace 0. Pretty uneventful game. Not much happening in that. Chelsea 1, Fulham 2. Game of 2 halves. First half, Chelsea looked comfy.
Hooked them.
Cole Palmer. Kid's cold, innit? That's it. Like that goal.
That was a power league goal. That was
It
literally.
was just the way he got the ball on the half turn, drifted in. And you know what? The goals where you just pass it into the net. It's just quality, isn't it? But second half comes up and Fulham just come out and it's like they're set up differently and it's like they were less afraid. You see that a lot in the Premiership where like teams playing Man City back in the day, you could just tell they weren't up for the fight, innit? Where I think you're seeing a lot less of that now across the smaller teams.
Yeah.
And if you stick it on teams, like they can crumble and it happened. So
A couple of things happened in that game though. So Fulham normally play 4 at the back. So Robertson has been great. We'll get onto him later on in the team. But he actually played as a wing back. So him and Castagno were the wing backs and they had 3 centre backs. And in the first half, they were almost trying to work out what they should be doing in terms of the balance for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jimenez wasn't great. When Muniz came in and basically stretched the game a bit more, and then they was like, oh, these are the passing challenge that we should get. Fulham slowly but surely
taking
grew into
control
the
of the
game,
game,
grew
yeah.
into the game. And I think that's where I think you talk about like flexibility in terms of Marco Silva has worked with those long enough. He said to them, we're going to now change it to cope with some of Chelsea's threats. Once they got used to the system, that's when they kind of really kicked in.
Yeah.
Harry Wilson has done it again. Like just literally just every time he comes on, it's like he's going to
Like he's
potentially
gonna
score
notch.
as well. And I think we actually need to give Muniz some real credit for that goal. Like that's a tough chance. When the ball comes across you,
Yeah.
you got to kind of like set yourself and go really quickly. A lot of people will like drag it
Yeah.
or like slice it. So it was a really good
Yeah,
finish
yeah.
last minute of the game. But I think it's also really interesting in the sense of Chelsea have a great squad, but they have really been playing just that one kind of like starting lineup as well. And actually, I think there's a few other players who probably do need a bit more time on, like Felix, or whether it be, I know you don't like him, or like Madueke, or like they should be playing a bit more. I think he likes Neto, he likes Sancho, but actually in certain games, I think Madueke's profile probably would have been better for that game than kind of
But
like Neto.
And is this the issue with the size of the squad
Yeah.
or the profile of the players you have now? And he's been quite ruthless. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not liking how you're playing this, so I'm going with Neto at the moment. I'm not liking how I'm going with Sancho.
Yeah.
João Felix, you know what João Felix is.
I think he should still be getting more minutes though. Because I think, like you said, when he's
He's
come
a
on, he's
talented
been
player.
alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Are we
think.
still doing this? The
No,
talented player thing.
Hold on, no.
He's
My
been
point,
around a long time now.
No,
you know.
my point is this. I'm not saying we've talented or not, but I'm saying you utilize your squad better. Nkunku should be getting more minutes as well.
No, I agree with that.
It's all of these things
I agree
I'm
with
saying.
Nkunku, but not for João Felix.
Okay,
We know what João Felix is
fine.
about.
No,
Like,
I know what your agenda about João Felix is.
What does he do? What does he do?
Yeah,
Alright.
I think he's all right, but I just think in terms of like the rotation, they should be doing a little bit more in terms of like starts to freshen things up. I think
Yeah,
that's fair.
definitely. And I think you got to have words with Neto for that first goal. But he's trying to claim a foul and it's just like, come on. No, it's not going to happen.
Mm.
But yeah, I think you got to big up Silva as well, man. Like
Yeah.
he's done the rounds
He's
a bit and he kind of got beaten with a few sticks to say, is he kind of at this level?
Mm.
And he was like, you know what? I'm going to go back down to the Championship. Because he obviously liked England. Like this is his fourth English job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and he's built a Fulham side that I kind of said this with Brentford. You can see them as a mainstay in the Premier League now. You don't kind of see them being threatened with relegation anytime soon, etc. And yeah, I
They're
think it's
enjoyable to watch as well. Like,
yeah.
remember when he
definitely.
came up, he had Mitrovic. It was really direct.
Yeah,
He's now like lost Mitrovic. Muniz done something. He's got Jimenez. He's tried to change it up and look at the profile. He's got a Wobie playing really well.
Yeah. He's got a
I know
number of-
Wilson's got
Yeah,
like
he- like,
Pereira.
Robertson.
when I got
Robertson
added-
is
yeah.
quality, but then even like Tete, who was keeping Castagna out, was having a great season. One and got Joachim Anderson back as well, and I think that's a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
signing.
That's
yeah.
Great
And you
signing.
think people are like, oh, we're losing Tosin. Like they've replaced him with someone
Someone
better.
better.
Yeah.
I agree.
Like,
The only thing I would do is I'd play Issa Diop over Bassi. I don't rate Bassi like that.
Yeah, Bassie's a
Bassi's
bit
very
what?
up
and
But he's
down.
athletic, right?
Yeah.
He's a
But I like Diop. I think Diop and Anderson is a good centre back partnership.
yeah.
Yeah. Newcastle 3, Villa 0.
I
Gordon.
didn't see that one.
Pardon?
I didn't see it being that clear. I thought it was going to be close.
The red card
The red
kind of
card
changed
changed,
the game.
The
So
red card changed it.
Newcastle do go up early. Gordon, great strike. But then the red card, and it's been debated a lot over the last kind of few days. Did he mean it? Was it accidental? I think it was accidental. I think the rest of the guys in the studio
Agreed.
think it was accidental. But the FA don't.
Mm.
And they've upheld the red card that was given to
Suspended.
Duran. So that's 3 games he's going to miss.
You look
Shame.
at it, his foot kind of gives way underneath it. It clearly twists, and then he kind of is struggling to get his balance back.
Yeah.
There's a clear movement that is affected by that left foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think if you look at that, it's pretty clear. What happened though is about 4 or 5 minutes before, he wanted to take a free kick and kind of
Yeah.
lost his head with his teammates.
Yeah, because
So I don't know whether they noted that and it's like, oh, he's like enraged,
Yeah,
so
he's a bit
he's now
angry.
kicked out. And these are things that happen in games where like the context of 5 minutes, that's the first thing that's in the referee's mind.
Yeah,
He's now seen, oh, he's now been involved in a flashpoint.
Yeah.
He was angry with a teammate. He's just taking his frustration
Yeah,
out. When
yeah,
if you
yeah.
actually see it, there's a little bit of a wiggle of the leg that completely affects how he's like his balance at that time as well. So, and to be fair, like Fabian Schär didn't kind of like scream and say he's done me or anything like
Yeah.
that. It was everyone else
Yeah,
who
it's
kind of
his
came in and
reaction,
made it worse. So
Yeah, sometimes
that's
the
always quite
reactions
telling. That's quite telling in terms of the player who's been affected. how they respond to things.
Yeah, but yeah, well played to Newcastle, who kind of put Villa to the sword after that. It's a bit of a shame because I think it would have been quite an interesting contest if it was 11v11, but these things happen. Nottingham Forest 1, Spurs 0. Not a surprise.
They're
But-
flying.
Really good goal from Elanga.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll come on to Forest because obviously they played today. But yeah, Spurs just look a bit jaded, especially after the hammering they had against Liverpool, conceding that many goals. I know Ange's flavour of the month sometimes with the media, and other times he can be a bit
I don't
frosty.
think he is now.
he can be a bit frosty.
Hey, that mate's got a bit more kick to it now. But yeah,
they're,
you
less,
said,
they're
mate.
less jovial. They're less jovial. But yeah, we'll come on to Spurs as well today. But yeah, very good win by Forest over Spurs. And then just the last of the Boxing Day kind of Christmas fixtures: Southampton 0, West Ham 1. And honestly, I don't know how Southampton lost this game.
Mm.
They had so many chances, and yeah, it was a bit of a smash and grab.
No, who's good for
From West
Southampton? Fernandez, the central midfielder.
Yeah,
He's decent.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know, whenever you see like a team go down and you like they're
Yeah,
really struggling.
he's
People
going.
are talking about Tyler Diblin, who showed flashes. Fernandez has been consistently. He scored against Liverpool, didn't he? He
Yeah.
scored a second goal. Like consistently good performances, and there's not much around him. You know, like you know when you play in midfield and there's no one to pop to, but you're doing the running, you're passing the ball, saying you should be here. Like he's genuinely been like clearly their best player.
Yeah.
And I think if
better
he
than Diblin,
continues,
you think?
I think so. I think because Diblin's been like flashes, and Diblin's been hooked at half time. He hasn't started certain games.
last
Whereas
game.
Fernandez is a mainstay in that team, and a lot goes through him. So I think he's definitely outperformed Diblin. But Diblin's young and he'll go up and down anyway. But Fernandez has definitely outperformed him.
Yeah, and I think Onyatu had maybe 2 clear chances, maybe 1 not so clear to score with headers. But what I did notice is that the new manager, Juric, who's kind of officially signed on now, he's got rid of that playing out from the back stuff. He's like,
Unnecessary.
Onyatu, 6'6",
Get
striker,
it up to him.
Ramsdale, knock it to him. And he's holding the ball up well. So yeah, a little bit unfortunate to not get anything out of that game. Right, there were 5 Premier League games today. Let's get into them.
And there's 5 goals in one of them as well.
We can save that for last. It's okay. Leicester 0, Manchester City 2. Leicester. If they just had a little bit more composure, a little bit more quality in the final third, I think they could have come away with 3 points today. Really, really do. I'm just not saying that Manchester City didn't have their own chances, but they were allowed to get in behind Manchester City so many times from the first half. And like Vardy in the first half, he was caught offside like 3 or 4 times. I was like, just hold your run. Like, you've been around long enough.
You know better.
You know better. And it's unfortunate they go behind to a Savinho goal, which is quite
Good finish.
a good finish. But
Poor
the
keeping.
goalkeeper, push it really wide or just hold it in it. Like, because Foden shot from maybe 25 yards. There wasn't like a difficult shot, but he just kind of, I know it bobbled in front of him, but yeah, he pushed it straight to Savinho, who scored. And in between that goal and Haaland's first goal in 5 games, I think it is.
Yeah.
Leicester have enough chances. Like Vardy put one over the bar from
Yeah, I saw that.
3 yards
From the cross, yeah.
From the cross. So I don't think Leicester are gonna stay up. Just based on, I think they'll be kind of 18 teams better than them this season. But I think if Van Nistelrooy can keep them playing the way they did, get a few recruitments for next season, I think he'll get them back up, whether they stay up that time around. It's a little bit different. But I think it might be a bit like what Maresca done last season. They've gone down and we play, because they played some really good football today. And it's not easy to play. I know this isn't the all singing, all dancing Manchester City that we're used to, but I thought they had a decent run of it. And like I say, it could have been 1-1 and it's a totally different game. What do you guys think?
I think Leicester are really missing Dewsbury Hall. Because last year he was probably like their two wingers were good, but Dewsbury Hall was kind of like the conductor for them.
Everything went
And
through
there's so like you had like Harry Winks who's gonna get the ball and set the tempo, and you're gonna give it to Dewsbury Hall who's gonna actually really conduct and kind of knit things together. They're missing that player. I know Bernatotti's had a couple of good games, but he's not doing it enough. And like you said, in certain of the games, Leicester's been in it. They've been okay. They scored first against you lot. Even against us, they came back from 2-2. They get back into games. They got a goal for it, but they just don't seem to just get enough across the line. So I do feel a little bit sorry for some of them. But yeah, I think we've seen now the 3 promoted teams are back in the bottom 3. I think that's how the season's going to end. If I'm looking at all the teams who are there now, a lot of them are upwardly mobile. We spoke about Everton earlier on. Wolves, the new manager. I think he's what unbeaten in 3, like 2 wins and a draw. Palace. Yeah, I think we're going to see a bit of a gap be created now. And it's unfortunate because I think if they could have nicked a couple of points earlier on, they'd be in a much better position to be able to like fight for relegation.
Do you think they should get Dewsbury Hall back on loan? Because Maresca said there's a possibility of him being available.
I don't think it's going to make a difference. Though.
No, but I think at least if he comes back in, it will kind of like deal with some of the problems that they got. Whether he's going to go back there, but you might as well give it a go, right?
Yeah.
Dewsbury Hall isn't. Me and you will see more of Chelsea's games than Dewsbury Hall at the moment. Like, I swear to you, bro. Like he's not getting a kick. Yeah, and we spoke about this. I don't even know if he plays in Europe.
No, he played the other day.
Yeah,
but I think what happened, Maresca didn't account for the levels that Lavia and Caicedo was going to come with, and then Enzo,
and even
Enzo stepped up.
I can't stand him, but yeah,
he stepped up. So where does he fit in? So
yeah, it's a tough one. And like, if you get the opportunity to go to Chelsea,
you're gonna
take it.
You've got to.
Yeah, so
you got to.
It's a shame. Manchester City. So we said they showed some glimpses. Like KDB started today, hasn't really started much of late. They showed glimpses of what they can do, but they still showed their fragility at the back. It seems like their midfield's just a little bit
too open.
Yeah, it's like
the profile of the midfield is balance,
right?
Defensive balance.
Because even someone like Kovacic, as much as we say Kovacic,
he's a box to box.
He's a box to box, and as a result, he's better in transition. When the ball's moving and he's moving, it's fine. He's never been good to sit there and stay and be the one person who's there as well. Gundogan's legs just seem short. Whenever Rico Lewis has been in there, they haven't done it really well.
Enough.
John Stones hasn't been fit because remember sometimes John Stones steps into that area and you got like Diaz. He hasn't been playing enough as well. Whenever they've had like Kanji go into the area, it's not quite the same.
Yeah.
They just don't have the profile of that as well. And I think even like Bernardo Silva's like performances haven't been that good. Foden hasn't hit the heights of what he should be doing. Yeah. So the whole makeup of the middle of the park isn't what it was. Yeah. And that's where a lot of the press came. Rodri used to be the trigger for them to kind of like go, we're now going to squeeze. No one's doing that. So as I wrote, it's like, 2 passes, we're in. And City's defense has never been great. It's not like you say it's watertight. There's been, Edison's not as good as Alisson. Like, if you have a couple of shots at them, they'll give something up. But now with that level of protection gone,
there's so many
gaps, no balance.
Yeah.
It's too easy to play against in there.
But McAtee came on. He had a good little spell.
Even like, why have they not played him? Why have they not played him
started the
more?
second goal. And if you look at their bench, like they're putting more youngsters
on there
on the bench. So Simpson Pewdie was on the bench, O'Reilly, Mubamba, I've not heard of him before, and McAtee. So 4 out of your 9 are kind of youngsters. And that you never really saw that before with Manchester City. It'd always be kind of 1, 2, maybe 2.
I think Pep might have said, I'm sat the season off.
No,
because
there's minutes.
No way. There's no way they're going to pass Chelsea, Arsenal and Liverpool.
No.
So he's like, you know what? It is what it is.
Give them their minutes.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, hopefully it's not the start of a comeback.
To be fair though, I think
City.
Another thing that we need to speak about with City as well is, so I think this year it was lined up for Oscar Bob to have a good season. Very much. And when his leg was broken at the start of the year, that was a bit of a shift for them. And then they went in and then I think they went and got Savinho later on, or he was there. But I think the idea wasn't even to pay Savinho that much. It was more Oscar Bob to kind of play. And then obviously, Palmer went the year before. That was meant to happen. Then you've lost Rodri. Diaz has been in and out as well. Stones has been in and out. We spoke about the kind of fatigue that's happened from the Euros.
Yeah.
So again, I can kind of... when you put all those things together, it makes a bit more sense why they've fallen off. Not to this extent though. This extent is crazy.
Yeah, it's mad.
But it does make sense why City's level isn't what it was.
Yeah, and I think I agree on the Oscar Bob because in pre-season he was cooking.
Good, yeah.
Cooking.
Like he looked so good,
Cooking.
and I was like, rah.
And
And I even put him in my provisional fantasy team.
he
Like,
was a man.
he was there.
He's a
I
man.
was like, yeah, he could have get me some numbers.
That was a massive shame. Massive shame.
Yeah, it definitely was. So you were going to say something?
No. That I was just agreeing with those points there, and I think the other issue is the wide players are not giving them the numbers to keep them in the game. So Savinho, that's his first goal of the season. Doku,
Yeah,
It's
Grealish is barely touching pitch. He was on
well,
the bench.
I've seen the number and I need to double check it, but they were saying like 45 games without a goal from Grealish.
You're
So
absolutely mad. And he's getting no heat. That's the maddest thing.
none.
Like, he's getting heat from kind of these quarters, but mainstream media, they are sacking.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
And the deflections onto Pep. Pep needs to play, but that's why. No, but Pep's played him and he's not giving you the numbers.
Those numbers are. And again, I'm not big on
It
just
works
numbers.
out like one goal every 7 games or something like that.
Isn't it?
Terrible, man.
And he's not young, isn't it, as well? Like,
and even just like we said, we're watching him. He's just turning back. Like he was genuinely awful against Villa. Like that game a couple of weeks ago, he was awful. And I'm just like, there's no way you shouldn't be the leading winger at the moment.
Yeah.
Savinho,
All the
Doku,
injuries and all the key players have gone.
Yeah.
All that.
Or even he should be at the point saying, well, I'm playing so well, move me centrally.
Yeah.
He's not doing any of that. So.
yeah, he's not making it hard for him, is he?
Yeah.
At all. Moving on to the next fixture, Crystal Palace 2, Southampton 1.
Oh, gosh. Damn.
Henderson, man, I thought you were getting a clean sheet.
Nah.
It's not going to.
And they conceded early as well.
I know.
It wasn't even like, oh yeah, let me have a bit of hope.
It was
Like,
like
they
the
conceded
first 4 or 5 minutes, isn't it?
mad early. I was like, right.
Yeah, so Tyler Diblin puts Southampton 1-0 up.
Camera arch across right.
Yeah.
Cut back. Yeah.
Armstrong, yeah.
Armstrong, so.
And then Chalobah heads Crystal Palace level in the 31st minute. And then there's a bit of a scramble in the box in the second half, and Eze,
On the edge of the area.
egg of the box, fires it in to pretty much an empty net because the keeper wasn't really there. Crystal Palace have taken a while to kind of get going. Do we think now that we're kind of seeing the Crystal Palace that we did at the back end of last season? Like they've only, like in their last 5, they've already lost 1. So they've won, drawn, lost, 1, drawn.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're on 20 points. Like they're only 2 points behind Manchester United. And considering the start that Crystal Palace had, that's not a bad position to be in now.
So I actually went to the Palace Arsenal game. I was in the Palace end. So when we beat them 5-1.
I've done that many a times, bro.
Yes. Couple of things I saw from them as well. So Ismail Assar is a real threat. Like whenever he picked up, I know he scored against us, but there were some pockets that he was getting into as well. Mateta played so well for like 50 minutes. Like a proper threat, was really worrying us. But the issue that they had was the midfield just wasn't doing it. So
They're missing a few players, right?
They are. So Wharton hasn't played much this season as well. Munoz didn't play as well. And I think he's really important to what they do as well. Lots of legs, lots of energy. But again, as much as he's a wing back, he does go inside and he's very good at underlapping.
Yeah.
Very, very good at underlapping and kind of doing that as well. Where Palace have kind of fallen off is obviously they lost Elise and bringing
Anderson.
in Sarr was something there. Then Eze hasn't played that much.
He's been injured. Yeah.
In and out of the team, stuff like that. Mateta went to the Olympics and then came back and played straight away. He looked a bit jaded. There's a couple of things that haven't been working. And a big thing as well is Tariq Mitchell, his level has dropped. So there's one stage I was like, should he be that kind of in the England framework?
Yeah,
we haven't got
had
anything like that.
conversation.
But his level, he wasn't good. He was not good at all when I watched him. So I was like, no, you need to pick that back up. Once they get their players back, if Eze plays and Mateta gets a little bit of a hot
And
streak,
Wharton comes back. Yeah.
they'll be fine. They'll be fine. But what they do need is they need another creator. And actually, what was really weird is Fulham took Reece Nelson and they took Nketiah. I almost felt like it potentially could have been the other way around. If Nketiah went to Fulham, I think he would be having a much better season. And I think if Reece Nelson went to Palace, he would have got more minutes. I know he recently started to get more minutes recently.
I think
I think he would have been a good foil for Mateta, and I would almost have swapped those two transfers around, and I think we would have seen both of them having far better seasons than they've
But I think the Reece Nelson one has worked out for him at Fulham.
Now it has.
Yeah.
Now it has. But I think he could have done either job at
Yeah.
them, whereas Eddie struggled at Palace, whereas I think he would have done a lot better at Fulham.
And yeah, I think it's just a few players that, but this is where Crystal Palace need to make a decision. Actually, what are we doing for next season? Like, who are we signing, and what direction are we actually going? Are we just doing this to survive, or are we going to go for a cup? And the problem is, how do you keep hold of Eze? That's another season. So,
But I think with that, sorry, excuse me, he's got to step it up the second half of the season.
Yeah, he does.
To even think about getting him.
He's not been at the
Because,
required
yeah.
level.
Like, I don't think anyone. I know you say he's been injured, but even the games he has started, I know he scored today, but he hasn't shifted the needle like he did last season.
Yeah.
And I think if anyone's going to look at him, they're going to be like, right, this Crystal Palace team has no Elise. Why have you not stepped up?
I
Kind
think,
of been that guy.
and I hear that, but I think he's in a win-win position anyway. I don't think he needs to step up massively for a team to take a gamble, because there's so many teams you can go to in a higher position than Palace.
Name them. Name a couple. Where he fits in and is effective. In there.
Spurs. He definitely gets into
I
it.
don't know. So you think he does more than Kulusevski or Johnson? Like, based right now.
More than Johnson.
And Kulusevski.
Kulusevski's playing really well.
No, he's playing well.
Kulusevski's playing really well.
He's playing well, but let's be real here. We've seen the numbers. We've seen the numbers.
But remember, you're saying going from just playing
Kulusevski's
Premier
got like
League
15
ball.
goals since he's been there. He's played about 3 seasons.
I hear that.
Make it 18 now.
But you're saying go from just playing regular Premier League ball to potentially going and playing in Europe and having an impact on European games.
Yeah.
I think Eze can
Yes.
Okay, so looking at teams,
Nottingham Forest, he could go to him. Yes,
they
of
got
course.
Gibbs, they got Gibbs
I'm not
White.
saying, but
Yeah, he could definitely go there. But I think Forest, you know what's weird? We probably would have put Forest and Palace in the exact same kind of like bracket in terms of the start of the season. They've just narrowly missed out relegation, and probably Palace were ahead of Forest at that stage.
Oh yeah, 100%.
What Forest have done? Yeah. So Fulham, I think he can't go there now because I think Smith Rowe's there. I don't know if he would play there. I think he could go Newcastle.
definitely.
I think Newcastle would be a good place for him because sometimes what they do is when they do their ruggish midfield,
They need a bit of
they need a
finesse.
bit more flair. And I think Gordon's a really good runner,
Yeah.
but they sometimes need a little bit more creative control. I think Newcastle would be a great fit for him as well. Chelsea, no, we can't do that as well.
If they
I
never
think
had
City.
Daesh,
I think City could be
I
good
think
for
Everton
them.
would be a good move if they never had Daesh.
They're lower than.
Yeah, but then they're not down there as well. Villa's a difficult one as well because they do actually need
Rodgers,
someone wide
Ramsey.
left.
Yeah.
But then if you got Ramsey, you got Rodgers. Is that overkill?
Yeah.
So
for
but
me,
I think he definitely could merit a
Fulham,
move up.
he can still get moved to Fulham.
I just don't see the point of him going to Fulham.
And
He would
you've
get
got to think
minutes
of
at
the fee
Fulham.
as well because Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Don't.
So,
what Parish is like.
like I said, Tottenham,
I think he goes
Fulham,
City.
Forest, Newcastle.
I think he goes City.
But he
I
doesn't
think he
start
goes
at City.
Newcastle.
That's the thing. Like,
He
won't
will start at
week-
City now.
I think he might now.
He
You know,
will
week
now.
in, week out. I
think
don't know.
now, KDB's
right
old.
now, yeah.
Gundogan's old.
Where are you playing him? What are you playing him in a 10?
I'll play him in the 10.
Double like an 8,
Yeah.
2 8s. I think they'll play 2 8s. That's what I play him. I think he could play there definitely.
Just ask
He might bring the best out of Foden again. So
You know what? At one stage, I
Unlock
thought
him, yeah.
he could potentially have come to Liverpool. I think the way that you've done it now is slightly different. I
Yeah.
think like you
Under
could,
Klopp,
yeah,
potentially.
yeah. But I think now because you got Curtis Jones there. I mean, if you say to me Szoboszlai or Eze, I know who I'm taking, and it's not Szoboszlai.
don't do that Liverpool thing.
He could.
It's not even
No,
a
you
Liverpool.
would do that
It's not
Liverpool.
even- It's not a Liverpool.
He could
thing.
potentially go to
I'm
Liverpool
not doing a Liverpool.
and
thing.
play.
What are you talking about?
He could
No,
go
you're
to
doing that.
Liverpool and play.
You what? Are you
Ah.
rating Szoboszlai?
Of course, I've
No.
said it on here. I rate Szoboszlai.
Is Eze better than Szoboszlai?
I think over the last year, he's been marginally more consistent. But I think Szoboszlai's energy levels in this Liverpool team is what warrants him in this team.
But-
Eze doesn't give you the same energy
You didn't
level.
answer my question.
No, but
See what I'm saying?
You
See the
didn't answer
Liverpool
my
thing?
question.
No,
I
is
answered-
Eze better than Szoboszlai?
No, I said
It's
been
close.
no,
It's a close
not
question.
close.
Yes or no?
Because
Is
it's
Eze
nuance.
better than
It's nuance.
What nuance are you adding to? Why are you adding
I told
nuance
No,
to
you
it?
can add nuance and still answer it.
I
You
know.
didn't answer
I
it.
said in the last year he's marginally been better. That's how I started.
Marginally.
Yeah, still
Eze's
better.
better
I
than
gave you what you
Szoboszlai.
wanted. Anyway,
Easy.
Yeah, I think he can go. He can go to a lot of teams actually, but he
Yeah,
does need to
it'd be
raise it. I do think.
Yeah,
I do think he.
Oh, he can go Brighton as well.
Yeah, there's Brighton beating them. We'll circle back to my last time here. It's all right.
Yeah, I think second half of the season we need to see a lot more
Yeah.
from him, especially if
I'd
Palace
agree.
play well. Like he
I'd
needs to
agree.
be the orchestrator of that. Southampton gone.
Yes.
New manager gets planning for next season.
I don't even know if he's doing that, but yeah, they're gone.
Yeah, apparently he managed Roma recently, so he's
Yeah,
he's
don't
no
bad.
he's no slouch. Everton 0, Forest 2.
Surprising.
And if I thought it was going to be a draw. I thought it was going to be a 0-0 draw, just based on like we said before we started recording. Everton have been really resilient in defensive
I mean,
actions.
there's been chances against them though, and Pickford
Oh,
and them are being defended.
Yeah,
so
yeah, they've been.
There's
they've
only
been
so
busy.
long that works.
Yeah, but like you say, the last 3 games they've played City, Arsenal, and
Mm.
Chelsea. Come away with 3 points, 2 clean sheets, and for as good as Forest has been, I was like, oh, it's that Goodison.
Yeah.
It'll be hard for them to penetrate. But the first goal, long ball from Gibbs White to Langa.
The Woods.
No, it was
It was the Woods. The Woods
To
onto
Elanga,
Langa and
back
Langa.
to Woods.
Yeah, and he lobbed
Yeah,
it.
lobbed it. Yeah,
Nice.
Great finish.
See, thinking looking like a salmon. Pickford just jumping, flapping his arms.
He's
like a
he's
salmon.
so erratic.
Yeah.
He's still the
Come
best
on to that.
England keeper though, but
This is the thing. We need to find someone to replace him.
That's tough for that. He's to be in that position.
That is crazy.
But yeah, I thought with the profile of like Woods, Tarkowski, like I thought that'd be
It would've suited.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
battle.
that's what it would
Yeah,
be.
they
but,
love that, innit? Come on.
But yeah.
and another thing he's doing as well, he's allowing Elanga to come so inside. Elanga's not even hugging the touchline or working that quarter or that side of the pitch. He's coming in and literally being a second striker
Yeah.
in that situation. So he done it in the goal against Tottenham. If you saw the game, he made about 3 runs
Yeah.
inside, and he's coming centrally as well, making it from
And
a
then they've
central
got
position.
Hudson-Odoi who's a lot wider on his side. So again, it's more like it's like the under that thing. He's coming that way a lot more. So he's doing that, whereas thing is not coming in as much. But they're working it really
And
well.
work, and they're getting overlaps from both
Yeah.
fullbacks as well. So
And it's weird because it's like they don't just sit back and then counter. They still play football,
Yeah.
but their transitions are really quick.
Yeah.
So it looks like they've just kind of been soaking up pressure,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, we're going to hit you now. When they did that a little bit against Liverpool because obviously they went 1-0
Yeah.
up and they kind of shut up shop. But they still play good football, and
I think you need to give some credit to Yates and Anderson, the two that have been playing.
Shielding.
Yeah, they're doing really well. And I think a lot spoken about like Murillo and the centre
Gibbs
back is
and-
doing good back.
Yeah,
And
Mikalenko.
Gibbs White will get the assists and stuff like that. But we actually have to look at those two
yeah, Anderson
are very much enabling a lot of people to have like really
the games
good
that they're having,
seasons as well.
they're covering the
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, big up Nuno, man, because obviously he had the stint at Wolves,
done good.
done really well. The tail end of Wolves wasn't as great as when he started. That's fine.
Mm.
Got the job at Spurs. A lot of people are like, ooh, what's going on there? But it's kind of looking like if he had stayed there and was given time,
And
he
the
might have
players.
been able to kind of do
Yeah.
something with the squad that he was trying to formalise, because he's coming to Nottingham Forest back in the last season when they weren't particularly doing that well.
Yeah,
They didn't, obviously, when Cooper took over, they signed a lot of players.
Yeah.
And they were like, what's going on? This isn't going to work. They stayed up. And this season, he hasn't really made like massive wholesale signings. Like he brought in Anderson from Newcastle, like,
Yeah.
as we just said, a really good signing. But he kind of worked with
They had.
he changed the goalkeeper. Sells has come in and done really,
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
well. So yeah, big up Nuno, man. And at the minute, they're second in the league,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Halfway point of the
Second
season,
in the
like if
league.
you said to a Nottingham Forest fan, you'd be second. They'd be
Second
like,
in
they
the
would have said
league.
you're crazy.
yeah.
So
They're really
yeah, let's see if
And
they
their
can-
record's good as well. Like they won 11 games.
Yeah.
They won 11 games. Like
I
it's,
think
Yeah.
how many goals has Woods got? Is it 11? I think. He's got 11.
yeah, they've only lost 4 all season. Like it's good numbers, man. It's good numbers.
Yeah, Wood has got 11. One
I can't
assist.
believe I took him on my fantasy team this week.
So I'm like, man, I put him on the bench.
You lot jumped on that wave. I spotted it first though.
I had Wood at the start of the season, bro.
So who's your captain?
Are you
this week,
telling me?
mate?
Oh, don't
I'm
do
not.
that.
Go back to my team.
Palmer.
Bro. I've had
Palmer.
Wood for the whole season.
Okay. I believe you. I'm above you though.
That's what we're doing. No, but let's put a fanny section in there. What, 76 points? Yeah, we're gonna do the count.
But I'm above you.
Okay, we'll see.
And to be fair, you used your free hit already.
But I can use that. I'm allowed to use that. Is
And,
that
Yeah, we use that all the time.
and his bench boost.
And
And-
your bench.
And his
Oh,
bench boost already.
well, can use it when I
No,
want.
he's like, oh, when should I use it? When I was like, those who know, no.
It's
That's all
fine.
right.
It's
You're not
fine, though.
catching me.
It's
How many
fine.
points behind?
You know what I call
Is
him?
it?
I call him new money.
I'm 90 points. Don't worry about that. And I was 140 behind you.
You're
So
90
you have to
points
float.
now.
Yeah.
Since when? Today.
Don't worry, bro.
Hey, this one's new money. Man's sending emails and talking big.
Bro.
It's first good season. But it's okay
You
because
know
I've got this recorded.
New money
At the
is
moment.
the, is the correct saying.
Hold on, can I just make sure though?
In May, I will make sure I circle back and we'll see what he's saying.
I'm
You're
making
above
the
me.
podcast look respectable though, because in the podcast league,
Okay.
where are you?
I haven't checked it.
You're about
I will, though.
17th.
I'm not in your podcast.
John's about 14th,
Don't worry, bro.
15th.
Don't
But
worry.
add me in.
We still
Add me
got,
in
we
still.
still
Yeah,
got
jump
5
in.
months
You
to go.
Because you're on it, guess
still
you
got
make it
5
look
months to go.
respectable.
So-
I have you make it look respectable because you lot are embarrassing us right now.
You're getting gassed too early, man. Don't worry, bro. Don't worry.
You're funny, man.
He's excited. Right, moving on to Fulham 2, Bournemouth 2. Always expected this to be a good game.
Mm.
These teams are doing well, kind of floating around the kind of Conference League, Europa League places. So Jimenez scores a really good header to put Fulham 1-0 up. Evan Nilsson equalises at the start of the second half. And then Harry Wilson again pops up with another goal, assisted by Robertson, who's done really well so far this season, as we've said. But Bournemouth, man, they just don't give up. And Otawara scores the 89th minute equaliser to make it 2-2.
He was so composed with that finish.
Yeah.
That was
And he
really
wasn't,
good.
and the joke is he wasn't composed at all against West Ham. Like he got in a lot
Yeah.
against West Ham and didn't do anything. So when I saw
this
it, I was
little
like,
dink. I was like, oh,
I was
hello.
like, right, okay. So it's like the harder the finish, you can put it off. But no, I think both of them are doing really well. I think we spoke about Marco Silva beforehand as well, but like Areola has done so well with that team.
Yeah.
Again, he hasn't made like wholesale training. You've lost Solanke, who everyone would say would be a really hard thing. Evan also took a little while to settle, missed that penalty. But then actually, he's got like lots of assists. Clivert's kind of stepped up.
Mm.
I think they're two wingers, cause a problem.
Mm.
Yeah.
And again, if you then look at the people who are sitting there, they're helping them. I think they got some good centre backs though.
Yeah.
Tyson's a good centre back.
And
Zabrani's a good centre back. But then even Senesi's out, who was their main centre back last year. So yeah,
And they've got
Kirkis
a
is
good-
good.
they've got a
as
left back as well,
Kirkis
Kirkis,
yeah, Kirkis is getting a lot of plaudits.
Yeah.
you're looking at him, right?
Yeah, apparently so. But,
It would make sense. It'd make
yeah.
sense for you lot to go and get someone like
yeah.
that.
Bournemouth are 6 on 30 points, 1 point behind
As they can
Man
go
City.
there as well.
Say again, sorry?
As they can go there as well.
You're saying you can go anywhere in the league, innit? Like, you say every team, apart from Arsenal.
To be fair, he could.
You're a funny guy. And then, yeah, Fulham are 8th, only 1 point behind Bournemouth.
Mm.
Same amount of points as Newcastle. So, yeah, these teams are doing really, really well. And
They're making that battle for fourth place really interesting, right? Or for Europe. And the battle for Europe
Yeah.
and fourth.
and we know football isn't linear, so we know it's not just going to kind of plateau out how the first half of the season is. But do you think these teams like Forest, Bournemouth, Fulham, who are in these positions that are not normally kind of associated with them, do you think they've got the potential to stay fighting in the position, or do you think it's down to the transfer window?
I think it will be partly down to the transfer window. One, I think Nottingham Forest has got a very good system, and there's a cohesiveness at that club right now that's bringing them all together. I think it makes it reachable for those teams just because Tottenham are not performing to the level. United are not there this year, and City is there, but we don't know what direction they're going. So right now, it's quite unpredictable who's gonna grab those European spots.
Villa seem to be a bit up and down. Like,
Up and
their
down as
their
well.
form since I think like the end part of October, start of November has been really bad.
Yeah.
And I think they should essentially pick it up at some point. I think Newcastle have started to understand it as well. So I think realistically you need to look at Tottenham ish, Villa,
Tottenham for what?
Newcastle.
For Europe.
Just if they're gonna push those teams. Does that make sense? Because realistically, if those teams finish above Tottenham, then you would normally expect them to be in European places, right?
Yeah.
That's the point I'm saying.
Oh yeah, that's why I said
I think
they're in for
historically
the
that's why I said
contention.
Tottenham's a push. But genuinely, if they finish above Newcastle and Aston Villa, I think they should be in European places. I think Newcastle will be better.
Yeah.
I think Newcastle will be better second half of the season.
Yeah, they've been on a good run. Won the last 3, Newcastle. Spurs 2, Wolves 2. So yeah, Wolves go ahead from a really smart
Free kick. Felt like Sunday Lee.
It was from Chang, like really, really well worked. And then
Bentancur header.
equalises with a header, and then Son misses a penalty, which is quite surprising.
Keep saving it, innit?
Yeah, some bonus. But
Some said it was a bad miss, some said it was a good save, but if you go the right way, always got a chance, isn't it? And then Johnson scores, really good team goal, actually. And then Larson equalises in the 87th minute. So
that
yeah,
angle.
yeah.
But you got no
Foster.
hope. Yeah, I was just about to, you got no hope with Foster to go right now. Like
Yeah,
he's
they
literally,
need Vicario
he's showing
back.
his age. He needs to be playing vets.
Yeah,
He needs to just retire back to vets
You know what's
football
funny?
because he's
Remember-
been bad.
Remember the save he made in the Liverpool game?
Oh, with his foot.
He's been bad.
He didn't know what to do.
Oh,
The reactions were like,
He's
what?
been so bad.
You know when you're playing football, you're like, I don't want to be in goal, but
Yeah,
move, man.
kick it
That
anyway.
is literally what it looked like. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
But nah, Foster, and again, even Foster with Foster, if you find a corner, it's
It's in.
done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
bad. You-
So I don't really like comparing managers and that, but Pereira's come in 3 games, 7 points. Amorim.
But-
Pereira hasn't really
But he's got
changed
but
the
no,
system too
but he's got the
much.
players for the system. Because they were playing 3-4-3.
But this is
They were
my
playing
point.
3-4-3 for
He
a
hasn't
while.
made wholesale changes.
But
There's
Wolves are
more
playing
tweaks to
3-4-3.
personnel, etc.
I think you got to look at who they played. So they played
Wolves.
Leicester.
Man
Yeah,
United.
they played Leicester away, and they beat them 3-0. They played
Man United.
United, and they played this Tottenham. So like, yeah, they've actually got a really tough run coming up. They play
Yeah.
City, they play Liverpool, they play Arsenal. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
like,
I've been a
the
bit
proof- yeah,
facetious.
the proof. But what the one thing I would say though is when you do come in, he's coming. He's like, okay, I just need to put a bit of a focus on us not giving away stupid goals.
Goals.
Yeah, because that's what they were
That's
doing.
what Wolves are doing.
Yeah.
Wolves will get
They were
into the
playing
game
well
and,
for 60 minutes.
and then just give away a
Best,
stupid
yeah.
goal. And I think he also kind of just brought down
The
kind of
tempo.
and
the
almost
emotions.
the emotions more than
'cause they're
anything.
really
'Cause-
heightened.
Yeah, because like
The
even
2 kickoffs against West
just-
Ham and against who was that?
like having like a punch up with people, they were just
It was.
Who was the second kickoff? It was West Ham
Yeah.
the first week,
Yeah.
and the second one was either Brighton or
Ipswich.
Ipswich.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Like they were kind of borderline about to almost break themselves.
Yeah.
So you just kind of like calm it down. We can play football, get the technicians on the ball, and we've just seen
They've
with
got a
the
very
calmness,
technical team.
They got a very technical team.
Yeah,
So-
Cunha, I think he might. If they stay, they should stay up.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people might be knocking on his.
How many
door.
points they got now? Yeah, I think they'd stay up.
They've out, yeah, they just won.
Yeah, they'll stay up. They're on. They're on.
I think if
16
they
points.
keep him,
Yeah.
they definitely stay
And
up.
goal difference as well.
Yeah, if they keep him in, they
But
stay
they've got,
up for
they've
sure.
got a lot of technical players in that team. Like there's central midfielders, Gomez
Lamina.
and Andre and Lamina. They're all very
They're
good
good
technical.
players.
I think the height for the 2 Brazilians is maybe a bit of an issue. They're not exactly tall.
I think their centre backs aren't good. That's the main thing I would say. They've got
Yeah.
decent fullbacks. I think Jose Sar's a good goalkeeper.
8 new.
I think Strand Larsen's not a bad 9 as well.
I said that.
Yeah, they got
Yeah.
Hwang, who doesn't
Hwang
even get
scored some
minutes
goals.
as well. So I think they've got enough to stay up for
Yeah,
sure.
8 Nori as well. He's always
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
good.
assisting or scoring. So yeah, they've got a good squad. Tottenham. It's just
They need to buy some centre backs.
yeah.
man.
To
And
be fair,
centre
like
mids.
They
they-
need
But
to
the
buy
they've had-
injuries are
centre
bad
backs.
though.
yeah, they've had like a lot of
Yeah.
injuries.
Was it
Like,
8 injuries?
we said, Gray playing centre back is not what they want.
But then also, can we also talk about the management of their squad to bring Romero and Van der Ven
Oh, back
Back
early.
back for
Early.
the
Hamstring
Chelsea
injury, yeah.
game with muscle injuries?
Yeah.
It's
Very.
ridiculous. So what
But
are
you're
we
desperate,
really
right?
saying? And to your point, you spoke about our Saka having a certain an injury. How does that affect you moving forward? Van der Ven's hamstring is under severe
Yeah, mate,
strain.
it's hanging on by a thread, isn't it? Like,
And that's my point as well. So all that they've done is they've rushed them back, and rather than saying, you know what, I'll risk one. You risk both of them.
In the
Dragison's
same
out
game.
now.
Dragison's out?
Yeah, Draguson was
no,
out.
he,
Did he come back?
He came back
But
today.
Okay,
but
patched
they were-
himself up.
they
But
were-
he's injured. He's not fit.
Yeah,
he's not actually 100%
like,
fit.
I don't think he would have played today if they had other options.
Davis,
Because he went off early in his last game.
Even Davis
Ben Davis is injured.
is injured.
Yeah.
So
but
it's,
Porro came back. Porro had to play right back today.
yeah, 'cause
Ferguson,
Jed
Gray.
Spence got suspended as
Yeah.
well. They've even gone to playing Jed Spence because they've been so like down for numbers as
And he's
well.
been
And like
kind of like,
Madison's not starting games, man. Like he's such a weird one because there's obviously talent there, but it's just not coming out at key times. And it's like, does Ange trust him?
I think there's that. Kulu's outperformed him as well, and I think he wants to give him more time. Brendan Johnson had obviously his scoring thing. You know what the real issue about Tottenham is at the moment? It seems like it's kind of Son. Son's not really great on the wing. He's not scoring, and then he can't play through the middle because Solanke's there as well, but you have to still play him. So it's almost like Johnson, Kulu, and Maddison are being rotated as a three, but Solanke has to start and Son has to start. So Maddison's almost falling out of that or just being picked for certain games. But actually, Son should be sat down a couple of times because he's not playing that well.
There was something you said earlier about just working with a set team and just work instead of chopping and changing a lot. And I think he doesn't trust the midfield. He keeps on, especially the centre three. Like you seen Ben Costa.
Basuma's been awful.
Basuma's been awful.
Yeah,
But then this is what throws me. And I forgot the game. But Sarr was playing well.
Yeah.
And he took off Sarr and left Basuma on. And
Sarr-
Basuma was struggling.
Sarr's been the best out of them. But then even he had it like his bozo moment.
Oh, yeah.
It's even as good. I say, I was like, yeah, Pat Sarr, he's playing alright. You idiot.
What you doing?
Like, there's just nothing that's kind of like
I think the issue is, even if they're bringing another manager, say like they said, all right, we're going to sack Ange. The other manager's going to have the same issue. The squad is not a good squad. It's a bad squad.
But you say it's a bad squad, but why are you sitting up?
No, because
we had this conversation. Like their squad is not that much worse than a lot of the teams in the league. So you say, their squad is bad.
Caveat, but for what they want to be, it's a bad squad.
If Tottenham can put out their strongest first 11, they're like what, the 7th best team in the league, maybe. Their best first. So if you're saying the manager can't come in and work, I know that's kind of an ideal scenario. But
I think
Tottenham's squad is not that bad.
It's bad.
You know what I think it
is?
It's
bad.
It's not that bad.
It is bad.
No, hold on. You're saying it's bad because of like quality. I think it's bad because of composition. For you to be coming in with really 2 recognised centre backs who you want to play, Dragoson they don't really rate, and then you still got Ben Davis as your 4th centre back. The fact that you've got Fraser Forster as your 2nd choice goalkeeper, and that's there as well. The fact that you also had Jed Spence and stuff like that, Desi Adogi, there's no real kind of left back there as well. You're now looking at some of the midfields. Their attacking options, they re-signed Timo Werner, which was absolute nonsense. You brought in Odebear, so he's not really going to play because you've got Son on that side. Yeah, you brought in Solanke, which makes sense. They feel like they've got enough in midfield. No, I don't think it's bad, but I think some of the composition means they're so short. Like one injury and they are completely derailed. Yeah. You should never be in that position.
Are you really not? Can't see how bad the Tottenham squad is.
No, I'm saying no.
It's not based on composition.
No, hold on. Let me finish.
And I like the word that you're using.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hold on.
I like, where are you going with this idea?
You know what it is? So I've got to throw you under the bus here. Because he's got his English degree and journalism, and I love you for it. He's got to throw. I think he went today. He brought out the word, and he's like, "What word am I going to use in the pod today? Word composition.
This guy, you know.
How can fit in?
Their quality is also an issue, but the composition to me is the more pressing part of it.
But the quality is bad. It's really bad.
The
only thing I'm working with in that team, the only team I'm working with in that team, sorry,
you weren't saying it was bad.
No, I was.
He said it. He's been consistent.
The only person I'm working with, or 2 players I'm working with in that team now, would be Solanke.
No, there's more than
Maddison.
There's more than 2.
1 second. Let me finish. I'm thinking carefully. I think the 2 fullbacks, and that's it. The goalkeeper's poor. Everyone got excited about Vicar. He's whack. The centre backs are whack.
Van der Ven's not whack.
Okay, I think there's a bit of time to work with him.
He's not as good as
they thought he was.
Yeah, we thought he was.
He's a backup centre back. He's a backup centre back.
No, you know I think he's with Van der Ven. I think he's overworked. No, I think it's the system.
Yeah, the high line killed him.
The high line. And then remember, you got Destiny Adogi, who's again consistently going into the middle of the park as well. That side is fully exposed. And then you've also got Son, who doesn't track back. That side is way too exposed, bro.
And I'm not disputing that. I'm not saying that the manager doesn't need to tweak But I'm telling you now, their players are poor.
Right, we'll see.
Apart from
Two things can
Solanke.
be true. Two things can be true.
We'll see. Right, let's move on. Final game of today. West Ham 0, Liverpool 5.
Bring back Moyes. Bring back Moyes. Moyes must be sitting there with his slippers.
He's
his
on
pipe.
a couple of podcasts, and he just seems relaxed. You know what his voice is
his
like?
pipe.
Yeah, it's looking good for me, boy.
You know the old pipe you put the tobacco in it?
Yeah.
To be fair, they had a few frailties. So like Wan-Bissaka had to play left back today. Don't really want that. Obviously, they've got no real striking options. Fulkrug is not it. Bowen, I said, I don't think he should be playing as a 9. And obviously, Antonio's out for the rest of the season. So, yeah, they've got a few frailties. But did any of you guys see the first half or anything?
I saw some of it. I think so. The last time you lot won the league, you went to Leicester. You beat them 4-0.
Boxing Day, I remember it clearly.
Yeah. And I think that was when the signal was like, yeah, we're cooking properly. I'm not saying you wasn't before,
Yeah.
but that's like we're really
we're
making a statement.
Because Leicester were 4th
Yeah.
in the league at
They
that
were
point.
doing well.
And I was like,
And I think
we put them to the sword easily.
and a lot of people saw that game as being potentially, it could be a banana skin. If Liverpool going to slip up, that's when it would be. And you beat them 4-0 and it was super easy. I remember Trent scored and I was a bit like, the league is theirs. I look at today's result, I look at everything that's around you, and when you're just going to comfortably go there, like obviously we beat them 5-2, but there was a moment where it's like, what's going to happen? You dispatched of them. And I'm sitting here thinking, someone had to close the gap. Someone had to use these busy fixtures to try to get closer to you.
Yeah.
And actually, Chelsea's gap has got bigger because they drew one and lost one. We've kind of stayed par for the course. I think the league's done. I think the league's done.
Yeah. It depends on our result tomorrow.
Sorry, can you say that again?
I said it once. Listen back to the recording.
So the mad thing is, 2 games ago, Chelsea could have gone top. Now Chelsea are
Essentially 10 points behind.
yeah. Obviously they got to play, but we played the same amount of games with them, and they're 10 games behind. So that's how mad it's been.
Yeah.
And like we had I think we had a 7-point gap at one point, and then obviously Chelsea could have gone top for the afternoon or 24 hours. So I think the consistency that we've shown has put us in a really good position. Yeah. And I said from the start of the season that we're going to win the league.
Yeah,
People
you
were
did.
Oh,
You did.
why, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I think we're kind of showing signs now that we can get over that and having this buffer. So if we play the same amount of games as Arsenal, where was it 8 points ahead of Arsenal?
9, I think.
Yeah, sorry, 9. We've got a 3-game cushion.
Yeah.
Which is
Crucial.
and that's without Arsenal dropping points themselves. Which is inevitably going to happen. Like, I don't think we're going to go the rest of the season unbeaten. We're going to drop points, but you've got to come to Anfield.
Yep.
We've got to go to Stamford Bridge. And we've mentioned that Chelsea are a little bit leaky and they can get exposed. Man City are not the same, so we got to go to the city ground, Etihad.
Yeah.
We could, if we're still in the same kind of form.
A lot of your hardest games are at home. Newcastle will come to yours. Tottenham come to yours as well. Like, I'm just looking at all the things. Yeah, you got to go say Nottingham Forest. But that's the point I was talking about, because when you initially created that 9-point gap, you're now looking at the next kind of like 6 or 7 games to be like, how do you reduce that gap? Because if you got ahead after say 10 games with a 9-point gap, we need to reduce that gap as quickly as possible to put pressure on you. So when you started to draw, and you know what else? The fact that the Everton game got rescheduled has worked so much in your favour. Let me explain it to you. You just played Newcastle away. You obviously played Sunday, where you beat City. You had Newcastle away, and then you was going to have Everton on the Saturday morning.
And the fact that we conceded so late against Newcastle was like a sucker
100%.
punch. So going into that Everton game, I think it might have a little like 12:30 Saturday at Goodison. Yep. No one wants to do that.
It was all
regardless,
set up.
Like Merseyside derby, you don't know what's going to happen in it.
Yeah, and that was the time. So when that game got rescheduled, I was like, damn it, because no matter whenever you play them, you're not gonna have that run unless it's like in the middle of say a Champions League quarterfinal, and that's the only time when it might actually have a level of jeopardy to it. Yeah. Whenever you play them now, it's not gonna have the same impact. Whereas that was the game to have the impact. And if you drop slightly, I think it brings people up. When that game was like, and now the fact that you've got a 6-point lead over us or 9 points on the same games, but you still got that game in hand.
Yeah, and it's
Done.
funny because
It's done.
after the Everton game, we played Fulham
Yeah.
at home, drew 2-2, and Slot said, I actually would have liked to have played the Everton game because he's like, I thought the boys would have been okay with a rest for a week. And he's like, we were rubbish today. Obviously, we had a man sent off. But he was like, it might have been good to play that, but it's kind of worked out in our favour.
Yeah,
Because no one's
a little
taking
bit.
advantage of it.
And you've also got to think now, Arsenal have got to play Man City, Tottenham,
Yeah.
Chelsea.
Yeah.
Chelsea have got to play everyone. Like, it's the whole round of fixtures again.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're in a really good position. Like, if we throw it away from now, I'll be devastated. I'm not gonna lie, but it would be very unlikely.
Yeah.
Based on how things work out.
I think, and also your squad knows how to do it now. They've been in this position. They've won the league before. They've experienced loss. So I think
when I look at the history of Liverpool as well, the leagues you've won have normally not really been a title race. So whenever there has been a title race, especially in the Premier League, you haven't won it. So for you to be 9 points clear, if we blink once, and you've got like Manchester United next, we've got away to Brentford, away to Brighton, and then we've got Spurs at home. Like, again, that's not 3 easy games that we need to kind of negotiate.
You could potentially drop points.
We blink again, it's potentially an 11-point gap. Liverpool, once you're in their stride and they're ahead, they really do like serenely run away with a title. If we were a bit tighter, we could put pressure on, I'd be really confident because none of your title races you've won. You've not won a single title race for the Premier League. It's only been when you've absolutely blitzed us. And that's why I went back to that Leicester performance because I was like, that kind of gave me the Leicester vibe of saying, you've just gone, it could have been, like you said, Chelsea go top. If you drop points, it gets interesting. You're now 10 points clear of Chelsea.
Yeah, which is
9
which
points,
is mad.
9 points clear of us, even if we're perfect. And then we still need to come to you. We still need to play you at Anfield. You still need to play.
And we can say, take a draw.
There you go.
One game less down.
And when you look at the second half of the season, a lot of your hard fixtures are right towards the end, but you're still at home. And a
slight bonus as well is that we're both still in the Carabao Cup. I think we'll both get through to the final. So you're still playing the same amount of games as that. We'll both get the top 8 in the Champions League. So we'll have that last 32 break off before the round of 16 starts. So like we're still level playing, and I think you'll beat Man United in the FA Cup. We should beat Accrington. If we don't, I'm not really too bothered to be honest. So we're still kind of playing the same amount of games where sometimes, like when we were kind of fighting on all fronts a couple seasons ago, we played every game that we could that season. Got all the way to the Carabao Cup final, all the way to the
because you won 2, didn't you?
Yeah,
you won the 2 domestic cups.
Got all the way to the Champions League final and
last day of the
league. So we played every conceivable game where if another team in our league is doing that, the pressure's not so much on us. But yeah, quickly, just back to today. Yeah, Liverpool won 5-0.
Who is it?
Diaz scored.
5 different scorers.
So yeah,
five different scorers.
Little ricochet off, I think it was Kufal. That put us 1-0 up. And then only downside today, Gomez went off with a hamstring injury, which is a little bit annoying, but Konate should be back soon.
Okay. One's back on, isn't it?
Mo Salah set up Gakpo with a nice bit of skill. He said he didn't mean the first nutmeg, so everyone can put that to rest. And then Salah scored himself to make it 3-0 at half time. Alexander-Arnold scores the 4th, bit of a deflection, but they all count. And then Jota makes it 5-0.
Salah set them up as well.
Yeah, so Salah has now scored and assisted in 8 Premier League goals, and that's a record for one season. So yeah, so that's a roundup of today's games. We've got a few topics that we can get into quickly. So just sticking with Liverpool, the Trent contract situation has not been as vocal as Mohamed Salah and a little bit as Van Dijk, and a lot of people kind of see that as him kind of already agreeing a move to Real Madrid. Reports from Marca came out this week saying that that's happened. What do you guys think will happen with Trent and his contract? What do you think he should do? 2 separate questions.
So I think there's just too much smoke around this, and also his behaviour over the summer holidays. You know,
Bellingham,
and those are all kind of telling signs. You know, like You've gone away. You're like, all right, we're hooking up for the holiday. We're rolling, So I just think there's just a number of things. And I think it's a challenge for him. I think it's a new challenge. I think there's a desire to be considered the out-and-out best right-back in the world and also a generational talent and be really respected. What else can he do at Liverpool? He's won the Premier League. He's won the Champions League. He's won
everything.
He's won everything. So, and he's young. And that's the beauty of it. He's young. So there's even scope for him to go and come back, and that's kind of be, finish his career at Liverpool. So I think he goes. And what was the second question?
What do you think he should do?
No, I think he definitely should go. I think as a professional, if you're a person that wants to be the best, you put yourself at a challenge. And Real Madrid, just because of that next level of pressure that comes with playing for Real Madrid. And I think it's set up for him. The right back's, 30 odd now? Yeah, about 31, 32. So I think it's just perfect for him to slot in. They will allow him to play his style of football as well. So I think it's a good relationship.
I think his contract situation is being seen differently to Salah's and Van Dijk because he's a scouser. Like he came up through the academy as a result. And I think almost if there was more discourse on his, I think it would irritate the fans even more. I think Salah can say, yeah, pay me this because he's someone who's come in, he's been there for 8 years and he's been a great servant to the club. That's great. Virgil van Dijk, again, they can have those conversations. Trent can't say anything because he's damned if he does, he's damned if he doesn't. Yeah. If he says, oh, I love Liverpool, then if you leave on a free as well, it's going to be like, well, you've not given us anything back. Obviously, he has in terms of his performances. If he then says, oh, actually, I'm interested in the Real Madrid thing, you're in the midst of a title run, all of these things, I think it is really difficult for him to even be vocal on it as well. I think he should go. I think it's a good time for him to go. I think what's probably thrown it off is probably how good Liverpool have been this season. I think if they were like, say, third and like slightly middling, potentially,
it would be like a new journey.
You'd be like, all right, cool, you know what? I've done what I need to kind of do. The fact that you've kind of come in and you've blitzed the league, it's a bit like, oh, so it could be a good parting bit, but it could be like, yo, actually, maybe this is the place to be, right? If we keep the band together, it might be good.
Another title,
The only thing I would think about, though, is the potential drop-off next year. Salah's having an amazing season. I think he can still be good next year. Virgil will be 1 year older as well. There's a few things that have happened in that Liverpool squad. This might be...
their last.
This might be it. A bit of like the last dance. Yeah, this might actually be the peak. This might be the peak this year.
A rebuild.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with Slot, but this could be the peak. So actually, is it a good time to go out on this high note? It's a really difficult one. And I think his is the most difficult contract to call because it would make perfect sense considering everything that happened for him to go. But because Slot has come and completely changed the landscape within 6 months, he may be thinking to himself like, right, if I actually go, maybe Liverpool's where it's cooking.
Yeah, so on the peak thing, I think the condition of Virgil and Mo, in terms of physical condition, would enable them to play at this level for maybe at least another 2 years after this season. So I'm not worried about the drop-off. I'm not saying it won't happen, but I'm not worried about that. So I'm like giving the contract. With Trent, it's very much like you said. He's seen as like the poster boy for Liverpool at the minute. And a lot of the discourse I see online from Liverpool fans is that why would you leave what's happening now at Liverpool? And I get that to an extent, but what a lot of fans are doing, which I hate, they're living out their desires through players. And in this instance, it's Trent. So they're like, well, why would you leave this? Well, because I'm a professional and I want to take my career and see what I can do outside of this. Like anyone would in their, or like most people should in their professional walk of life. And what a lot of fans do is they don't see footballers as having a job.
Yeah.
They see them as their commodities and what makes them happy.
Especially when they're local.
Yeah.
Which is the added part that we can't move from that.
And football fans in general have got to get away from that.
Yeah.
Like I know I love Liverpool. Like I live in London. When I go and watch Liverpool play, I'm spending a lot of money to go watch Liverpool play. But if Trent wants to leave, I'm not going to be here and be like, well, you owe it to Liverpool. No, because contracts are two-way. I sign a contract to play for the club and the club signed a contract for me to play for them. Like, it's a two-way thing.
He wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here.
Well.
Like, it's a two-way thing. So, for me, I don't want Trent to leave, but if he was to leave...
you wouldn't be upset.
Yeah, like, go with the blessing.
And
like,
you've also got a good cover, right? You've got Conor Bradley.
Yeah.
He's injured, but he's been a good
Yeah.
servant when he's come on, and
I
he
think you
will
need
improve.
to buy right back.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
only
No, but you've got enough there that you can work with him, and he will improve. It gives you kind of a different option in terms of how he plays the right back position. I'm not saying you don't need a right back, but you can actually wait a season because technically you got Gomez and you got Conor Bradley, so actually I've got two solid right backs. It might not bring me the attacking free flowing style that I want to play, but they can play it really well and give me the balance that I need. So for us to find a very good right back to swap him in for, so.
Yeah, and I think
Mm.
my only potential concern looking forward is like we signed Chiesa, he hasn't really been fit, etc.
Yeah.
What kind of transfer dealings do we have going forward? Because obviously the sign we're gonna have to make signings next season. Like we can't go into
Yeah,
next
with
season
the
this
same
squad.
squad, yeah.
What kind of signs or profile are we gonna make, etc. That's the only thing I'm slightly.
I can see you lot signing
worried
a
about.
central midfielder because I think Gravenberch is getting through a lot of work in the 6.
Yeah, it's good that he got to come off early today.
Yeah.
Take him off.
I think McAllister has definitely been a lot better in the 8 than he was playing in the 6 last year. And I think that kind of Curtis Jones to Bosley piece we've spoken about already. I think if you were to bolster that area, I think it would make a lot of sense. I think you could definitely need a left back. I think that's definitely something that's been on the top for a while. And I also think it's interesting to what's going to play out for you lot up front. I don't think Slot keeps Nunes.
I don't think so either.
I think I've looked at what Diaz has done there. I've looked at what Jota's done there as well. And he's only really played there when the others haven't really been fit.
Available.
When everyone's available, Nunes doesn't really touch pitch in the same way. I don't think he wants that because he's added more control to your team already. So I think he goes. So I think you then probably look for a different profile of striker as well. And I can see those 2 or 3 signings being really crucial. If Trent goes, because remember, Trent's vice captain as well. Again, these are all the things that people forget that. Like, he's been made vice captain. Let's say Virgil was to not stay, he would then inherit the captain's armband.
Yeah.
But now you're going to go for free. So I understand more of the emotional attachment that's attached to it. I think, like you said, from a clear business decision, him going to Real Madrid to explore that culture, having someone like Bellingham there as well, there's a real key spot there. It makes sense. And I think another point that we need to look at as well is what Real Madrid are probably looking to potentially do is we're now going to be in trouble because they're going to start looking at Saliba. I can see them want Saliba and Trent to be there to the right side. 100%. I can see that happening as well. So I'm pretty sure that
attention will come up.
Yeah.
Our way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's going to be really interesting, right?
It's going to be really interesting.
I think Real Madrid are going for a small rebuild. And they've got a lot of youngsters, and I think they see him as. And you got to remember, Real Madrid will play the waiting game. They've done it with Mbappe.
Yeah.
They said, "All right, we're not going to buy it."
And I also
it's a project
think,
that you
and
can't
that's another thing as well, because I don't know, because someone was saying if Trent signs a contract and then Liverpool get a fee, it's better. I don't think Real Madrid will push so hard to pay for him.
No.
I think it has to be this, so they can really like lavish him with the wages, give him that feeling as well. And Trent will never be in this position again, where he can be like 26 years old, command that as well. So you almost have to look at, again, the full context of it. If he does sign, he's signing for life. I think if he signs a contract for you, he's there for life. There's no other opportunity for him to go to Real Madrid like this again.
And so I just saw it came up, Salah's still kind of twerking. He came out and said, we're so far away from our contract agreement.
Salah's definitely
no, I think he wants to stay. I think he's desperate to say. I think it's a good relationship. I don't think he wants to. You see, when you get you see what's the beautiful thing for Liverpool. You see when a player loves the city, loves the fans, loves the club. Like, and you don't get that a lot. So look, remember, Benitez loves Liverpool.
Yeah, he didn't leave.
There's so many players that have left Liverpool and love Liverpool. Like, you know what I mean? And I think for Liverpool or for the board, you got to make it work with Salah.
Last point on that though, I think if Klopp stays, Salah doesn't stay.
Yeah.
Because that relationship clearly broke down. Yeah. And so again, Arne Slot's one of his biggest jobs was going in and getting a good working relationship with Mohamed Salah, and we've seen the benefit of it as well. So I think that bit has to be factored in as well.
Because when we played West Ham last season,
that was when
that's when they had the bust up.
Yeah.
And then
He drew 2-2, didn't he?
Yeah, the interviewer said it today, and he was like, "Yeah, me and Virgil were making fun of that about that in the changing room."
Yeah, because you drew 2-2 in the back end of the season, and that was when things started to look a bit.
Dropped. Yeah. So
Imagine that.
yeah, so yeah,
Drop him again, yes.
be interested. Be interested to see how all three contracts play out.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully it doesn't derail kind of Liverpool's momentum second half of the season. I think we'll leave the top six signings things for next week because that's when the transfer window opens.
Yeah.
So we'll go then. Just last two topics. So Ronaldo was at the Globe Soccer Awards, and I looked this up. It's a Saudi-based
Of course it is.
awards.
That's only been running for 3 years since he's been there.
No. So it's actually been running for 10 years.
Oh,
But-
no, sorry. His award has only been running
Oh
for
yeah,
3 years.
his particular.
sorry,
Yeah,
that's
so
it.
basically, the Globe Soccer Awards have been running since 2010, but there was only 6 categories when it first started. Now there's more categories, and the one that Ronaldo won has only been running for the 3 years that he's been there. But
I saw something that he's an investor as well. He owns part of the awards. So
that's funny.
Right.
And the point I want to make is the comments he made about the Ballon d'Or. So he said Vinicius should have won the Ballon d'Or. In my opinion, it was clear. It was unfair. This is why I love Globe Soccer Awards. They are honest. Are we seeing kind of Real Madrid and now Ronaldo kind of trying to discredit
the
the
Ballon
Ballon d'Or?
100%.
And how do you think that plays out?
It's never wrong. It was never wrong when he won it.
And that's right. But I think there's if it's true that he owns part of this new award,
Conflict of interest.
Conflict of
To a
interest.
new level.
but I don't like the Ballon d'Or. I'm not interested in it because I think it's just so inconsistent. I think it's unfairly judged and picked. And yeah, I just don't enjoy it. I don't see the hype for it no more. I think there's been players that should have won it that never won it.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not interested in it. So I think he does. I think even Ronaldo himself would admit some of them Ballon d'Ors awards he didn't actually deserve it that season.
Yeah, definitely.
But he got it just based on his name.
So with this awards being Saudi backed, then we know that they can throw a lot of money. And to be fair, like Vinicius was there, Ballon was there. There was a lot of big profile players at this awards. Do you think this could potentially one day surpass?
I don't know.
Ballon
I think the
d'Or?
timing of it as well.
Maybe not the prestige, but
Yeah.
just in terms of the kind of fanfare around it.
I think so. Because look at the Super League, like they pushed for it, and then the Champions League changed it completely. Their setup and reflect. So I think there's space for them to come through.
I don't think so. I think obviously it's a winter break in everywhere but England, so they've probably gone over there. They're probably giving them a bit of a decent fee to go there as well,
100%.
and those kinds of things as well. I think you choose to go to the Ballon d'Ors, but you're probably paid to go to an event like that. I think it's a long way off from even being credible. I'm not the biggest Ballon d'Or fan as well. I just think I look at the holes in many of the judging panels and people who should have got it and years that they didn't get it as well. But I think it will always remain because it is kind of just still seen as still seen as creme de la creme, and it is something that you kind of have to say you've achieved to be sometimes classed as a really elite football player as well. I don't agree with it personally, but it seems to be, especially in the narratives that we're speaking about now, a lot of it, even being more stats based and stuff like that. I think this will take a long time. To be fair, the only way this league gets better, this global thing, is when more and more quality goes into that league. And I don't think that's going to happen.
But you say that, but look at what they've done with boxing, the Saudi, and look what they've done with their own league. Furthermore, their league is moving quickly. I don't think it's going to take that long. I think this award, because the award is global, it's not just related to their league. It's worldwide. I think
the reason it'll never be big is because UEFA is almost more powerful than FIFA. So as a result, they'll never ever get to that stage. Like UEFA really do have a massive monopoly on football, more so than people think. So as a result, I don't ever see that region developing to the point where it's going to be a genuine rival of it. If I'm proved wrong, so be it. But
it'll be interesting to see.
I think the thing is money talks, right? And I think that's the biggest thing here. Money does talk.
Yeah, definitely. Right, and we're going to end off today's episode with our teams of the season so far.
So we're going to do a combined one for us. So
let's do our individual ones.
Okay.
And then we'll try and pick a combined one. So as we know, this round of fixtures was round 19, which officially means we're halfway through the Premier League season. So yeah, the boys have come up with their teams of the season.
Should we let the guest
Shall I go
first?
first? Or because remember last time I went first, I got some heavily
Should we let the
criticised.
guest go? Should we let the
let him go
our
first because
guest?
I think we need to have a laugh first.
No, to be fair, I don't think our teams are going to be that
Yeah.
much difference. And I'm going to do mine and then give the honourable mentions for
Cool.
certain positions.
Yeah.
So I've got Sales in goal,
Mm.
Robertson Fulham as my left back. I've got Virgil as my centre back with an honourable mention to Murillo. Gabriel as my other centre back, honourable mention to Milinkovic. Trent's my right back with an honourable mention to Aina. And then that's the end of my honourable mentions. So Nottingham Forest could have been heavily represented there. And then I've got Gravenberch, Caicedo, Palmer, Salah, Saka, Wood.
Okay.
Who wants to go next?
Yeah, I can go. I've got Raya in goal. I think Sells is an honourable mention, definitely, but I think Raya has been, especially at the start of the season, he really did save us. I think he's been really, really good. I've got Aina right back.
Mhm.
I think Trent, yeah. Mazraoui, up until about 5 games ago, seemed to have a really good start to the season. Obviously, I know the system has shifted now, so that's kind of affected him as well. I think Virgil and Gabriel are like clearly the best 2 centre backs this season as well. Although I do think kind of like Milenkovic, Murillo, Saliba, and Zabarani at Bournemouth have both had they've all had really, really good seasons as well. Robertson would be my left back. Cucurella's been really good for Chelsea.
Yeah.
And Hall's kind of like started to pick up for Newcastle recently, but I think Robertson is clear. He's been exceptional. Same midfield. I think Gravenberch. I think I said it last time we were here. I think Gravenberch potentially has been. I know Salah's numbers are crazy. I know Virgil's there. I think Gravenberch is your most important player in terms of the base of what's happened this season as well. I think Salah's done what Salah always does, but Gravenberch getting Gravenberch fixed a major problem for Liverpool this season.
Yeah, massively.
So I think that happens. Caicedo's definitely there as well. Palmer. I mean, we've spoken about some of the names earlier on, like Christie, Anderson, Kulusevski. I think they've all had good seasons by their merits, but I think you can only have those 3. And then up front is where it gets a little bit different as well, because I didn't move Saka out of his side. I said it's either going to be Saka or Salah, and I think we have to go with Salah.
100%.
Right.
On the left-hand side, though, I was a little bit kind of creative because I put Cunha there. I think he's been excellent for Wolves. They've had a really, really bad season, but he's got like a really good output and he's been like such like effective for them. And up front is where I've really found it difficult. But I think I'm going to go for Chris Wood. And the reason I'm going to go for Chris Wood is, like we said, Nottingham Forest are doing really well. He scored again today. Isak was my honourable mention because I think his recent form has been
he would have been mine as
really good. Welbeck had a great start to the season as well. And at one stage I was like, right, Danny Wells is doing an absolute massive.
That guy Wells.
To beat his goal record.
And then there's a few other players like Gordon, Semenyo have done all right. But it's really weird because if you look at that right position, you got Salah, you got Saka, Mbeumo, Bowen, and Ahmad. All have had really good seasons, but Mo has just been so clear of everyone.
I wouldn't put Ahmad in there.
No, Ahmad's been good.
No,
Ahmad's been very, very good. And even hold on.
You said he's been good.
No.
Relax,
Ahmad has been really good because even in the games where he was playing there at the start of the season, his performances in what is a mess at United, he was doing really good. So he should be there.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Don't rebuttal. Just do your team. We don't need a rebuttal.
I just said who's been performing well in that role. I didn't say he should be in the team of the year.
Okay.
Listen, bro.
All right, it's pretty much similar.
Yeah.
Some disagreements here. So Raya, for the same reasons. A couple double saves, penalty saves, etc.
He's done well.
I've gone with Timber. I think Timber, he's been very good defensively, very good going forward. Gabriel, Virgil, same. I've gone with Kirkes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a bad shot. Yeah.
The same midfield, Caicedo, Gravenberch, Palmer. Same as you, Salah. Saka's pushed him, but Salah's just been. Even though my boy Woods, I should have picked my boy Woods. I've gone with Isak.
Okay.
And then same right wing forward, Cunha. Yeah, I think just little things, his touches in the games this season, passes, assists, shots. He's just been a proper constant threat.
All right, so our contentions are Robertson or Timber. We had two for left back.
Left back. I didn't put.
No, you put him right.
Oh, you put him right back?
Yeah.
That's got to be Aina then, innit? I'd say.
I think Aina should be right back.
Yeah. Aina. And then Robinson,
Right, should be-
left back. That's fine. I'll go for Raya for goalkeeper. That's fine. Midfield, we all pick the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was easy.
Yeah.
It's
Then you got Cunha.
Cunha or Saka.
Yeah, I don't think we can move Saka across.
No.
I don't think we can move him across. I know why you've done it, but I think we should
Yeah,
actually
I
look at
just
people
do- I
who
just do
played
positions.
Positions.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I'll run through it for the
Like,
fight
even when
for-
you do the combined Arsenal and Liverpool 11, it's got to be Salah every time.
stupid. Yeah, stupid.
But people, oh no, but play Saka on the right. No.
Or play Salah through the middle.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so our team of the season so far is Raya in goal, Robertson left back, Virgil van Dijk and Gabriel as centre backs, Aina as right back, Gravenberch, Caicedo and Palmer in the midfield, Salah on the right, Cunha on the left, and Chris Wood up front.
That's my team.
Nice one, boys. Nice one, boys. All right. Thank you very much for listening for this episode. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And we will see you next week. Peace.
See you later.